Alright, let's try this again. See if it goes well this time. Hello everybody, hope you're all well today. So, just wait and see if anyone joins. But yeah, just yeah, if you've got nothing good to say, don't say anything. Thank you for the like, whoever that is. Well, if you don't like the stream, then just don't say anything, just move on, Like, so, you just like, you do anything interesting, you just walk around. Well, I was just trying to talk about something, and maybe it wasn't for them, I don't know, but it's not my problem. Anyway, got 2 people here. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all well. So, yeah, just, so I've been getting this person, like, commenting on my videos. I've had to block them because basically it was just a bunch of negative stuff that was like, I mean, some might say, well, it's just them this criticizing me on my forum and stuff, but it's just the way that they're doing things. It's the context of it because it's like I'd called them out before and they were just, basically, like they never actually addressed things, and so now they're trying to like put comments on my videos and trying to like, basically it feels like it's kind of like insulting my intelligence, like trying to say, oh, like like you should, go, talk to a professional to, get the right form and technique or whatever. But like, there is YouTube videos out there that will show you how to do these things. Like, I would need to have a fucking person to like teach me how to do shit like that. It's not like I'm learning a fucking guitar or some shit that's very technical. It's like, I mean, come on, like, exercise ain't that fucking complicated, I don't know why they're saying this shit. It's just like, yeah, it wasn't quite right what I did. I'll accept that. I wasn't even really sure what I was even doing at the time. I kind of just presumed it was kind of like a bit like a sort of power snatch. But yeah, don't know what's going on with these likes. It keeps going up and down. I don't know. But yeah, but it's kind of like a power snatch, but I kind of just missed a bit out of it or something. And you're supposed to use some like knee flexion, but with like a regular snatch, you're like going into like a full squat kind of thing. Hi Damien, how you doing? I hope you're well. Welcome in here. Is that Fletcher, the one that was here before? Like I say, if you have nothing good to say, then just don't say anything, because I really can't be bothered with that shit. So, so it's like, yeah, I've, things that not quite right, and but I can just like go and look up stuff. If I'm doing something wrong, then I can just look up the forum or something. Do I need to go and talk to somebody to have them show it me? I don't think so. I don't think that is necessary. Like, it just sounds like they're trying to patronize me and shit like that. I mean, I really can't be bothered with stuff like that, So, I just block them, just do one, because I've already expressed how I feel about those people who are just kind of, I don't know, they just seem to be very kind of I don't know, that kind of snobby kind of people. I really can't be doing with people like that. But yeah, like I said, I'm not doing things perfectly. I'm, just kind of like trying something new. It's not really stuff I'm really that experienced in. Is like it's kind of like Olympic lifting type of stuff, um, but yeah, I just kind of, next time I do it, I would, address things, but do I need to be like fucking talking to a professional or something? Because on a previous comment, they were saying that I should go seek out a personal trainer. It's like, why would I need to do that? Like, I mean, it ain't that fucking difficult. It's like they're trying to just insult me, is what it seems. Like they're saying, oh well, you ain't smart enough to like figure it out on your own or something. Fuck you. You know? I don't know. It just to me it's just kind of insulting, really. But it's like they're just trying to get to me, I think. I mean, it was at one time they were kind of, saying good things, right? And now because I don't like them, they're now saying bad things. You know? They've like basically changed their tune now because I called them out and I've called a bunch of people out. Now they've changed their tune and now they're trying to like nitpick at my videos and say that my form sucks, whatever. But I noticed they're only, looking at certain videos and putting comments on. They're only putting comments on certain videos that are, like that they can just kind of. Because some of them, I think, would arguably they can't really, fault it. I mean, like my pull-up videos and stuff like that, I've actually been getting pretty good with that, and I've started to use full range of motion, and I've learned from that. I've learned to, kind of, I've took that on board, doing full range of motion now, and yeah, but so they probably couldn't really find much fault in that, I guess. They're gonna just nitpick on videos that they can find something in that they can just attack. That's what they're trying to do. Because I don't see them putting any positive comments on anything. You might say, well, I was being negative to them. Well, they deserved it, though. They deserved everything that they got because of the way that I was trapped. The way that they just kind of allowed some troll guy, whatever, to just keep attacking me in their fucking live stream. And even fucking said shit on my own fucking live stream. And I had this guy as a fucking mod for a while on my fucking lives. This guy that I'm talking about, the one that sent the fucking comments. And I'm like, it's just really fucking disappointing. Because maybe if they'd have actually fucking been respectful and actually, then maybe we could have actually just kind of, worked together and actually, kind of collaborated and whatever, and just, we could have taught each other stuff. I mean, well, he would probably teach me a lot of stuff because he's been into it a lot, but it's like there's the thing is, even with the length of time that he's been in it, he's probably would still be able to learn new things as well. Like, you can never learn everything, right? There's always, even someone that might be a relative beginner or something could teach somebody who's more advanced things because maybe they've picked something new up. So, yeah, I remember there was this back exercise that I was doing, and I think he said he hadn't even seen it before or something. So it was like so even with his experience, he's still kind of, he would still potentially be able to learn new things and stuff. So, but yeah, like but he would use his like experience to kind of be like, I don't know, to put people down as beginners or something. Hello, Michael Bell, how you doing? I would say you're a beginner if you've only been doing it up to like a few months or so. Like if you've been doing things for like a year, two, whatever, you're starting to get to like intermediate stage, I think, at that point. I mean, I've been training for years, so I think I'd definitely be at least at an intermediate level of training. Just on judging how like my strength is and stuff like that, I would be considered at like at least at an intermediate level in the grand scheme of things, because like, you know, it's just they were calling me a beginner, and that, to me that's quite an insult really, to just like say that I'm a beginner. They were saying, oh, but your form is blah blah blah. It's like, well, okay, I wasn't really trying to like focus too much on my form on a fucking maximum lift, like, because on things like a deadlift, like maximal lifts, you know, you're wanting to use leverage, which then form can be kind of like compromised somewhat. Surely they must know that people trying to max out on certain lifts are going to break form somewhat. As long as you don't like use terrible form, then that's, because that would be bad. But I'm doing fine, thank you. Hope you're doing well, Michael. You know, if your form's terrible, then that's not good. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's just people trying to put you down as some kind of like beginner or something. The thing is that there's a thing called what is it? The law of diminishing returns. So, in relatively speaking, like you're going to become an intermediate probably within about a year or so of training, just because you've already gotten probably about half your results at that point. Like some people can actually like gain 20 plus pounds of muscle in their first year, especially if they're a complete beginner to start with and they haven't really got any strength. Like they can gain quite a bit, but then it tapers off after that. So they're probably already at like an early intermediate stage after a year in some cases. After 2 years, you could already be at like, you know, towards kind of like the later stages of intermediate. By year 3, 4, or 5, you're probably getting towards like advanced level, I would say. Because like I said, the diminishing returns for a lot of people, that's when they're going to start kicking in. So when you start to see that, you know, kind of progress start to diminish, then you're already getting to like towards kind of like intermediate to advanced. So yeah, just because you've been in it 30 odd years or whatever, but then you probably got most of that knowledge within the first few years, is what I'm saying. You know, it doesn't take like fucking 30 odd years to accumulate all of that knowledge that you had. You know, most of that knowledge and most of that strength and the fitness and all the different things come within the first probably couple of years or so. Like you'll notice a lot of people, they have this huge, you know, kind of like transformation, and then things taper off. So it's a lot harder to go from like intermediate to advanced than to go from beginner to intermediate. It's going to take a lot longer. A lot of people end up being stuck at intermediate because they don't end up pushing themselves past that. they kind of just give up a lot of them, or they just don't adapt things to then keep getting results. In some cases, it's people's lifestyle that can end up making them stagnate. For some people, they end up having priorities that they have to deal with, and that's understandable. So you just got to kind of like, but yeah, it's just like, to call me like a beginner, I think is insulting, really. And then, unless they're talking about beginner in terms of like deadlifting or something, but I mean, I've not really done a whole lot of deadlifting, but there's a lot of other exercises that carry over quite well to it. That's probably why I was able to lift so much. But yeah, that's what I do. Just kind of, anyway. So just doing a lot of like, things like squats and other exercises that give me that kind of foundation, really, to get stronger and get generally fitter. So I can do quite a lot of reps of body weight squats without stopping. So that shows a level of fitness. The average guy, I believe, can only do about 57 body weight squats without stopping, whereas I could probably do hundreds. My max is 225, so not sure what it would be now, but I remember doing a while ago 130 with some weight on my back. I also did 82, I think, with the 20 kilograms on my back. So the point is that, that's quite, stamina, isn't it? It's, so I remember a while ago I did 60 and then I pushed it up. It'd be cool if I could get it to like 100. I think that would be a pretty cool achievement. But yeah, I don't know. Just there's a lot of these like kind of, I don't know. It can make some people arrogant because they think, oh well, I've been in this for so long, and it's, I don't know. I mean, like I said, most of the knowledge and most of the skill that you get is in the first bit. After that, it's diminishing returns. It's like, even say you learn an instrument, most of it's at the beginning. But I mean, if I wanted to do like good form on the deadlift, I would do that. If I'm going to use a lighter weight or something, and just if I wanted to try and work on the posterior chain and try and really isolate that more, okay, I would do that. I mean, but I don't really train deadlifts that much for that purpose, because I prefer just doing kind of like squats, because it just, for me, it would give me a more balanced kind of, it would work the posterior chain somewhat, but also it would work, the quads and stuff. So I'm not really bothered about getting a huge butt, because that would actually be against what I'm trying to really go for, really. I want a more proportional look now. You might say, well, you good deadlifts, so it can be good for like working the hamstrings and stuff, but it isn't really a good one for quads. Hello, Haley. How you doing? Hope you're well. But so I don't really train deadlifts for the purpose of hypertrophy. So that's the thing, is that they're acting as though that's what I'm doing or something, but whatever, just I'm okay, thank you. Just there's people like, this person like leaving negative comments. I've just had to block them because they're just, they seem quite conceited and just like, arrogant. It's like some people might be like, oh, but you won't take criticism or whatever. It's not that. I understand that, you know, sometimes my form isn't the best, but it's the way that people will go about things. Like they're trying to like just be negative and never really see them put any positive things. You know, like, and they used to say positive things to me, saying, oh yeah, it's great that you're doing all that. Remember when I went on Jace's live and this person was saying, oh, I have respect for you going on there and grinding it out with him. And that sounds a bit wrong, doesn't it? But they were like just being positive, and you know, I said some good stuff and saying, oh, you know, you look like you're getting in good shape and all this stuff, and you're working out hard and you're getting results and stuff, but because I called them out, then, you know, then that's when they show their true colors. You know, it's like, I understand if people are trying to, you know, be helpful or whatever and try to give constructive criticism, that's okay. I have no problem with that. The problem is when you're just being an asshole and it's the context of it that matters. Because I don't see them actually saying anything positive on any other videos or anything, and to balance it out and be like, yeah, even if they said, like, even if they did find some slight problem with it, they could say, yeah, that, you know, you're doing pretty good there, but I would just kind of, you know, just make sure to keep such a thing straight or something like that. They could have, you know, kind of like, they didn't find anything positive. It was just negative. You know, it's like, to me, that's kind of, if it's purely just negative, then I'm not going to take that seriously, because surely there's something positive they could have found in my videos to like kind of, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to give me any like, you know, sort of positivity, because, well, they don't like me because I don't like them, because they're just assholes and they let me get kind of attacked in their live stream. They saw it happen, but they just kind of chose to just kind of let it happen. So God knows if they've been saying shit behind me back and whatever, but you know, it's just these toxic people. Like, there's a few of them out there in that fitness community. Just pathetic. So I was just kind of like minding my own business, really, and just, well, I don't go to their channel anymore. I'm not going to go and like spew hate over there or anything like that. So why are they coming onto my channel? Like, they could have just said, like, if, okay, you disagree with the form on the power snatch, okay, yeah, it's not the best. I was just kind of trying something out at the gym. I was just kind of, I'd like to just try new things out. And yeah, I need to like research it a bit more, but they could have just said that, you know, just that I'm, you know, missing bits of it or something like that. And if it was done in a way where it's like, it just seems to be like an insult to my intelligence more so than anything. It's like I can't research and I can't, you know, sort of figure things out for myself. So the thing is, right, you know, what is it like? Fucking, and you get these people out there just trying to say that, oh, what I do doesn't work or whatever, the way I train doesn't work. You get those people as well. Well, how come I've got progress and how come I'm making more progress than most of these fucking people out there. You know? Like, people are just kind of like, they have this very kind of dogmatic view on things, where it's like only one way works. Like they'll say, oh, well, this style of training won't work. Oh, you would have made more gains if you'd have done it a different way. How do you know that, though? How do they fucking know that? Like, these people don't know shit, a lot of them. The thing is that I'll do whatever I feel like I want to do, and you know, it seems to be getting me results. Because, like, how much heavier am I than even just like a year ago? Probably about 20 pounds heavier, nearly. So, obviously, I'm a bit taller than a lot of people's, but the thing is that what I'm doing is working. People are noticing results. So yeah, like, I mean, like I'll adjust things if I feel like something is kind of causing me any strain or anything like that. It's like, oh, this is causing me some issues. Maybe I should like adjust how I do things. You know, I think that is fair. But seems like it's like, because people just want to like, I don't know, they just want to push a very kind of dogmatic view on things. Like, I mean, for some people, maybe like doing push-ups with like elbow flow might be bad. I use some elbow flow. It just kind of, I just feel like it helps me a little bit, and just kind of, I've tried doing it with elbows tucked, and it's just awkward. I just find it very awkward, and it just isn't even enjoyable. Like, I use some elbow flow. I mean, maybe it's not good for everybody to do that, but at least for me, I've not had any issues with it. Like, I don't know, like, if certain people are more susceptible to having, because they were talking about shoulder impingement, like internal rotation or something, but I don't know if it's something that's just been kind of like over exaggerated or something, because like, you get all this like fear mongering and stuff about certain injuries. It's like you'll get people saying that crunches are bad for your back or some shit like that. Yeah, maybe for certain people, but I don't have any issues with it myself. So I would have found out by now if it was gonna injure me or something. Like, I'm gonna listen to my body and be kind of like in tune with your body, and just kind of like think, okay, is this actually like, you know, kind of good for me? Because I've tried different things out that are bad, like where it would cause, you know, strain like on my wrist or my elbow or something like that. You just got to like adjust things if things are not working. It's about being kind of like trial and error, and just kind of, as long as you don't do anything like dangerous. But it's like, you know, you get all these people going about, oh, shoulder impingement or something like that or whatever. I mean, yeah, like, you know, for certain people, maybe there is something to that, but you know, I would flare my elbows out a bit, and I don't know if it's really that bad. I don't know. Some people say that it's bad, but then let's have a look and see what people are saying, because you get certain people saying you should never flare, you should always keep it very much tucked and 90 degrees or whatever. Anyway, let's do elbows, push-ups. Why do so many people do push-ups with elbows flared out? Elbows tucked isolates the triceps more. Elbows flared activates the chest more. Both are valid ways to do push-ups, depending on what muscle. Not too bad, thank you. How are you doing today? So basically, according to this, tucking your elbows is gonna hit the triceps more. Someone said elbows tucked in the sides creates pressure / pain on my wrist. Flared elbows feels better for me. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's all these people going on about, oh, you should tuck your elbows in. Maybe not everybody should do that, you know? I don't like it when I do that. It just doesn't feel right to me. I feel better when I actually flare out. Maybe some people, it's just naturally they should just do that. So you get all these people with like a one size fits all kind of advice, you know, which I don't agree with. I'm doing fine, thank you. How you doing? We were talking about form and stuff, and it's like, yeah, people like Paul St. Iron, and he's great and all that, but it's like he pushes this thing about keep your elbows tucked in when you're doing push-ups. And he does that, and that's his way, and that's cool. But I don't think everyone necessarily has to do that. Because for some people, trying to keep them tucked in might not necessarily be a good idea, and they might actually find it uncomfortable to do it that way. They might say, well, it's just that they're not used to that. Well, it's like, people have got to train in the way that's going to feel comfortable to them, that's going to like make them stay consistent with it. Because if it doesn't feel comfortable, then if it feels unnatural and it feels awkward, then I'm like, okay, well, this isn't right for me. This is not how I want to do it. So it's like it's not an invalid way to do a push-up. Just like how doing a deadlift with some rounding of the back of, the upper back, if it's somewhat rounded, is still a valid way to do a deadlift. I think too much rounding of the lower back can be bad, because that's what can get injured. But it's very much context and whatever. It's just, if you're maxing out, then yeah, you'd probably want to have a little bit of rounding if you're wanting to max your weight out. Just because a lot of people are going to find that it's just going to be a bit easier for them to do it that way, because it would mean that you have to bend your legs somewhat less, so that your legs are going to be in a stronger position if they're less flexed, which then is going to allow you to and then you're going to use your upper back to support the movement, and it's just going to mean that the overall range of motion is less, and it's going to allow you to good. And when you flow out, it's supposed to be easier. That's how most people start out. It's just, I've tried doing it tucked in, but I just don't like it. Like, I've tried doing good form, whatever, but it just feels awkward. Like, it just, I don't know. They could argue, if you want to isolate certain muscles, it's better to tuck it, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad way to do it. A lot of people are saying that flaring out is bad. Maybe in certain individuals, maybe with certain predispositions, I don't know. Some people may just be predisposed to certain things, like shoulder impingements or something like that. But I don't know. It's there's a lot of like kind of dogmas around fitness and stuff where, oh, you should always use perfect form. Well, what even is perfect form? No, yeah, you should probably, kind of keep your back straight when doing a push up. That's going to engage the core, and it's going to work on that core, like what's it called? Anti extension. So when you're doing like say a plank or push-ups, and you're bracing the core and all that, and you're doing like kind of keeping your core tight and you're keeping everything in a straight line, that can be good for your core. So if you want to work your core, that's a good way to do it. It's going to work those deep abdominal muscles. But yeah, like I don't know. It's like people saying crunches or sit-ups are bad. Personally, I don't really do a lot of sit-ups because I kind of feel like they're a bit of a redundant exercise if you want to isolate the abs. For me personally, I just find that I could just do them all day and just kind of, it just doesn't really feel like a very productive exercise for that, because it's going to work a lot of hip flexors. So what I mean, right? Let's just try do sit-ups, yeah. A lot of it's going to be hip flexors. So if I'm doing, say, this, where I'm just kind of like going, like once I get to like here, it's all hip flexors, I think, for the most part. So if I want to work my abs in a more isolated way, then I would just do crunches like that. Or you can just do them like that. But sit-ups are just kind of, I don't really think they're the best ab exercise out there, because you're not keeping tension on the abs. Well, at least I don't think you really do. Like, it doesn't really feel like I'm keeping tension on there, because I'm using a lot of hip flexors. I mean, like if you just doing kind of this stuff, like if I'm doing like more of crunches, it seems that they isolate the upper abs better than just going like, because then there's a lot of like momentum used from the hip flexors. Like I just feel like I could just do that all day. It's just not a very in my opinion, not a very productive exercise. But if you want a more efficient exercise, I would say like probably I started doing weighted crunches. They are really good for the abs, actually. Just I would like put like a, I could just use that bag of weights or something, just use it as resistance, so I can then overload it. Because at a certain point, you want to overload it if you want to get stronger abs. Treat it like any other muscle. You progressively overload it. You'd put weight onto it over time. I mean, I'm trying to engage abs on certain exercises like push-ups and stuff. Trying to like improve on that, but it is difficult because you're trying to do two things at once. Like I'm trying to focus on, the pushing motion, but then also, but so I would try and do slower reps and stuff. If I'm doing that, I would do kind of more slow controlled reps, which would just kind of help to just give me better, more quality contractions and stuff on the target muscles. So focusing on getting the stretch and things like that, making sure I'm using full range of motion and whatnot. I think dead stop push-ups are a good one for that, about, you know, time under tension and all that, because doing bouncing reps is gonna make it just kind of a bit easier, actually. Especially once you can do like 30 plus reps, you're gonna be able to just like, yeah, it's just gonna just keep going and going, but then is it really that productive versus doing more kind of difficult reps or something where anyway, but yeah, just people who've been into like the fitness stuff for a long time, they should know like the nuances of things and not like try and teach absolutes and stuff and like say that a particular exercise is bad. I mean, I just don't see that as really helpful, and it just like it's about kind of saying, you know, be careful of certain exercises, but just if you're finding that there's any kind of, if you're getting any pain or whatever doing a certain exercise, then you might need to stop it and do something else or adjust it. Because certain exercises might have their place, but then for certain people, they might not be the best. Some people have certain conditions, like they might have some issue with their back or something, and then certain exercises they have to be very careful of. But I don't understand how just doing a bunch of crunches is bad for the you know, the back or the neck or whatever. I guess because it depends how much you do it, and like, I mean, because there was this person who was like kind of saying that, oh, there's no right way to do it or something, and but I'm like, it's just, it feels like, you know, like a natural movement to me. It feels like something that if it feels natural to me, I'm likely to do it. Like, I'm not a big fan of leg press because it doesn't feel like a natural movement. It just doesn't feel right to me, really. I much prefer squats over leg press, just because like the movement feels a bit more like a natural movement that we're doing, not some kind of trying to press a machine away. It doesn't feel right, that, I don't know. But like I said, with like crunches, I could just like do that. But yeah, like I mean, some people might have issues with that. Maybe some people have weaknesses in, say, like their spine or whatever, or they might have to address some of these things potentially. I don't know. I'm not an expert on all this, but what I'm saying is that yeah, if you're getting any kind of strain, then you might want to try something else. A lot of people like afraid of spinal flexion. It's like, so then does that mean that you shouldn't be performing things like Jefferson curls? Because that's become kind of like this controversial exercise. And some people say it's one of their favorite exercises to do. And that's an exercise that involves a ton of spinal flexion. So if they're against doing crunches and things, I'm guessing they'll probably be against doing things like Jefferson curls. But it's an exercise for like the spinal erectors and sort of like, because those are the muscles that, erect the spine. Hello, not so sad. How you doing? I hope you're well. Welcome in here. Make sure you subscribe if you're new here. But yeah, if you work in like your spine and you're strengthening those muscles up over time, does that mean that maybe then it helps to protect your spine? So if you're doing things like crunches and stuff, then it's going to protect it somewhat. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on this stuff. I'm just wondering what you guys think. But at least for me personally, I don't really feel like my back or my neck is fucked from doing a bunch of crunches or anything. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there might be some truth to it. I was talking with someone and they said that they tried doing sit-ups and they had some issues with it or something. Yeah, some people are going to be different. Like I said, there's not a one size fits all with these things, I don't think. So we have to just kind of like just find what works for us and what is safe for us. Hello, Deva. What's that, clerk? What do you mean? Anyway, hope you're all doing well today. Now, I could be completely wrong, I'm not going to just sit here and be like, I'm definitely right. Because unlike some people, I'm in the UK, unlike some people, they think that they're 100% right. And so the thing is, even if you've been in something for a long time, there's still a chance that you may have got something wrong. If you've got some dogma. Like there's scientists who've believed in something their whole life and then later on down the line, they then kind of realize that they were wrong. So yeah, I'm not really a big fan of like people pushing like a one size fits all in general. It just doesn't really apply, I don't think, to everybody a lot of times, like that something's good or something's bad. In some cases it can, but we have to find a nuance and kind of yeah. I'm probably gonna get off here soon. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if I'm going out to the gym again today, but I may do. Been trying to do some kind of workout every day. Some people might say I'm overtraining, but it's like I'll listen to my body and if I feel like I'm doing too much, then the next day I won't do as much. And just do it more of like an active recovery kind of day. Like yesterday, I didn't really feel 100%. Like I was a bit sort of on certain exercises, wasn't really quite recovered. But so I'll just kind of go with how I feel, basically. If I don't really feel like I'm fully recovered, then I'm not gonna train as hard. Hello, No Frills, how you doing? Good to see you. But maybe in some cases, people are leaving gains on the table because they don't quite know like how far they can really like push. Like they haven't really found that kind of balance where they're just teetering on like training too much. But that might not be good for the long run, I don't think, because it can leave you feeling kind of exhausted. We have to find that balance between being kind of like adequate training and overtraining, where it's like kind of we're just about like at that maximum to where we can still get, where it's going to be effective, basically, where it maximizes effectiveness. There's a very fine line of that. But if you're training like less hard, then there's less stimulus, then, isn't there? There's less, like if you're able to recover a lot, then you should probably train a bit harder. It's about trying to find a balance of train hard and recover hard. Train hard, recover hard. That's what I would say. Like, whereas some people maybe they're training a little bit less and not focusing too much on things like cortisol and trying to, do things like meditation to help lower their cortisol levels and stuff like that. I've been trying to incorporate some meditation in breathing and stuff like that. They find that meditation can help lower cortisol in the long run, especially. It seems to have a sort of like cumulative effect on cortisol. So this might help you to get better quality sleep and help with the recovery. Also help just in general, just kind of, so by keeping your cortisol low, you're increasing your testosterone, you're increasing growth hormone, which is going to help you recover faster and be able to go harder. So yeah, so it's about trying to train as much as you can without it becoming overtraining, is what I'm saying, where you end up getting negative returns. Like there's going to probably be like a point of diminishing returns, but then it's about finding that kind of sweet spot where you're just at that kind of peak before it becomes like overtraining. That's where you are going to get probably like the maximum returns. Because if you're working out hard and then you feel like you can go again the next day, but you decide to have a rest day instead, then then you're probably but then again, some might argue that you should sometimes have a rest day more for your nervous system or something. I guess you've got to find the right balance of that as well, and just it depends on how heavy you're going and stuff like that. Also, some people might talk about joints and things like that, and doing deloads and stuff like that to help with that and make sure that you're not going to get yourself injured. But I'm guessing like your overall recovery capacity is going to go up if you focus on things like meditation, sleep, things like that. A lot of people are not sleeping enough, so their ability to train hard and stuff like that. Also, if you're doing things like alcohol, that's gonna decrease your ability to recover and increase, to then release growth hormones and stuff like that. If you're binge drinking at the weekend, that can really stay in your system quite a while and then really impair your training and your ability to recover from that training. So you're just going to end up like probably slowing your gains down. So there's a lot of ways that people are, not able to train. It's all like if their life is quite stressful and they're just kind of like, you know what I mean? They don't, they have very high cortisol levels and stuff like that. So if you can then try and, reduce the stresses in your life and prioritize mindfulness. That's what I think is going to help you with getting better results and stuff. Another one is active recovery, because like just doing like exercise, walking around, things like that, help get the blood around. That can be good as a way to make you feel more fresh, ready to go again, because you're just kind of helping to clear out metabolic waste, because this metabolic waste can end up breaking down muscles and just kind of, so it can be good to do that. So I think they say like that maybe doing a little bit of light cardio possibly after a workout might be a good idea, actually. In fact, I actually might have a look into that actually on post-workout sort of, because I don't. There's this whole thing you need to kind of create a signal for growth. So you need that what the stimulus, and then. But you don't want too much muscle breakdown, because breakdown is like what causes you to lose muscle, obviously. So like I was saying, like with high cortisol, it increases muscle breakdown and less growth. So you've got a combination of more breakdown happening, and there's going to be less growth hormones and stuff like that are going to build muscle. So if you want to build muscle faster, then lowering your cortisol is going to be one of the best ways to do it. So improving your sleep quality, improving your lifestyle, so you're lowering your cortisol levels. Maybe you have to take some kind of supplement if you're struggling with that. But a lot of people probably don't even need to do that. They just need to change their environment so that it's going to be more conducive to them being able to make more progress. So like what was I going to have a look into? So basically let's have a look. Everybody's still there. What was I going to have a look at? So I was talking about meditation, and what else was I looking at? Things like muscle breakdown. And obviously I was going to look at post-workout let's say, steady state cardio. Let's have a look at this. So, So I'm just wondering, like, kind of, let's call it active recovery. Because I was looking into this a while ago about active recovery post-workout. And like muscle breakdown and stuff. So it says about increasing blood flow to muscles to remove waste products and deliver nutrients rather than causing further breakdown. To benefit from active recovery, engage in low intensity activities like walking, light cycling, or gentle stretching to promote circulation without causing more fatigue. Combining these with other recovery methods like proper hydration, nutrition, including protein and sufficient sleep, will further support muscle repair and reduce soreness. So, so it says here about after a relatively light workout, your muscles may be able to recover in 24 hours, whereas a more challenging workout might take 2 to 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't work out so intensely where I would not be able to recover after a day or so, basically. And if I haven't fully recovered, then I would just go lighter, and then the day after that, I should be more kind of back to normal. Yeah. Let's see. So I was looking at like doing combining active and passive recovery. So yeah, meditation is there's a lot of benefits of meditation actually, physically and mentally. Like I said, lowering your cortisol is one, lowering your stress, improving sleep. It can even improve creativity and help you to kind of solve problems and things like that. It can help with just kind of not letting life stress you out, basically. So there's a whole bunch of things, maybe even like helping you with productivity, helping you with your work capacity and stuff like that. Combining active and passive recovery is key to an optimal balance strategy for muscle gain. Muscle growth occurs during rest and recovery, not the workout itself. So a proper mix of both types of recovery ensures muscles have the time to repair and strengthen while managing fatigue and promoting blood flow. A well-structured program integrates both methods throughout a weekly routine. For example, a simple 3-3-3 rule suggests 3 days of strength training, 3 days of cardio active recovery, and 3 days of rest, passive recovery, interspersed throughout the week. So this is one way you could do it. I mean, there's different ways you can sort of do things, but again, there isn't a one size fits all. I just kind of work out every day and I just do a certain amount. Like there's people saying that you have to train a certain split, like push pull legs or some shit. Well, who's to say you have to do it that way, you know? Maybe you could just do a bit for your whole body, you know, kind of. For some people, like they might not want to be like doing a whole ass leg session that's gonna make them feel like they can barely even walk the next day. That's not going to be for everybody, is it? So it's not really ideal, is it? Light jogging, what's this? Sorry, walking, light jogging, low intensity cycling, swimming, stretching, or yoga to improve flexibility and reduce stiffness. So that's active recovery. So passive recovery would be, well, it says here, complete rest days. They get at least one full day a week to total rest, especially after very heavy training sessions or competitions during sleep. And then we've got foundational elements. So I thought we'd talk about things like meditation. There's like a way of recovering where it would help you with reducing cortisol to then help you. Yes, the exercise is about switching to rest and digest mode, which is the opposite of the fight or flight mode. So getting you out of that fight or flight mode is important. The parasympathetic nervous system, it's like the vagal nerve or vagus nerve, whatever you call it. Yeah, so this system reduces blood pressure, heart rate, and muscle tension, creating an optimal environment for physical and mental recovery. Stress management. Intense training can be physically and mentally stressful. Meditation lowers overall stress levels, preventing burnout and improving mental well-being, enhancing sleep quality. Adequate quality sleep is arguably the most vital form of passive recovery, as the body releases growth hormones and repairs tissues during deep sleep. By promoting relaxation, meditation can improve sleep patterns, improves body awareness. Practicing mindfulness helps you tune into your body's signals, making it easier to determine when you need rest versus when you can push yourself during a workout. Yeah, that's true. So especially when you do things like body scan meditation, and you can really feel your body, you can feel what you're in tune with your body. So choose a comfortable, quiet location to minimize distractions. It says get comfortable, sit or lie in a position where your body can fully relax. Focus on breathing. Take slow, deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling slowly through your mouth. You can count your breaths to help maintain focus. Use guided meditations. If you struggle with keeping a clear mind, guided meditations can be very helpful. There are many options available on platforms like Headspace and Insight Timer. Practice consistently, even 5 to 10 minutes a day. Daily practice can have a significant impact on managing stress and improving recovery. So basically, so meditation is shown to help improve recovery, help you to be able to go harder for longer with workouts, but still be able to recover. So hope everyone's doing well today. So I'm probably gonna get off pretty soon. So yeah, yeah. I don't think I've got much else to say. Doing good. I heard alcohol kills gains. It can do, yeah, especially if you do it a lot. So I was talking about that before. That yeah, let's have a look at how much can alcohol kill gains. How much can alcohol kill gains? Alcohol can negatively affect muscle gains, particularly when consumed in large amounts after a workout, as it inhibits protein synthesis, hinders muscle recovery, and can disrupt sleep and hormone levels. However, moderate occasional drinking, e.g., 1 or 2 drinks, has a minimal effect on muscle growth. The key is that binge drinking is what causes significant negative impacts, while low to moderate intake does not appear to hinder long-term gains. So yeah, if you're a heavy drinker, it's going to have the worst effects. Consuming around 5 to 7 beers, approx 70 g of alcohol after a workout has been shown to suppress muscle protein synthesis by about 24%. Some studies show even greater suppression with higher amounts. Hormonal disruption. Heavy drinking can lower testosterone and elevate cortisol, a stress hormone, which can make fat loss harder and promote fat storage. Dehydration. Alcohol is a diuretic, which can lead to dehydration and impair blood flow and nutrient transport to the muscles. Reduced sleep quality. Alcohol can disrupt. Hello, Ace of Hearts. I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing? Alcohol can disrupt sleep patterns, and poor sleep quality significantly hinders muscle repair and growth, which is crucial for building muscle. Empty calories. Alcohol provides empty calories that can contribute to weight gain and may slow down fat burning. I also saw something about being at a high body fat percentage can actually slow down muscle growth as well. But there's people trying to say that it doesn't or whatever, but saying that you're better off being fat if you want to build muscle or something. I don't know, but it kind of makes sense that insulin resistance can then start to happen as you get more body fat. You want to be a very high insulin sensitivity in order to maximize muscle growth, I would have thought. So yeah. Let's just having a look at this. So let's see what it says. Okay, I've trying to not drink this month as being a doozy. I'll try to drink more water to get it out my system. It definitely affected my sleep. Yeah, alcohol is not good for sleep, is it? It's probably gonna slow down gains and stuff if that's what you're trying to do. Well, it says it doesn't inherently prevent muscle growth, as muscle can still be built at any body fat level. However, a high body fat percentage can make muscle gains less visible due to the overlying fat, and conditions like insulin resistance associated with obesity can make it harder to burn fat and achieve muscle definition. Well, that's obvious, yeah. This can lead to a longer process of seeing muscle definition, though strength gains will still occur and are often a better indicator of growth than appearance when fat is high. But I've seen stuff about about things like insulin resistance and yeah. But it like says it doesn't say it on this particular thing, but I've seen people talk about, well, they were talking about the P ratio and stuff like that, and but basically, too much body fat could lead to insulin resistance, which is kind of like pre-diabetes sort of thing. So some people find that they can actually like reverse that by losing weight. So just give you more energy and kind of, because then your body can be more efficient with like the mitochondria, it can work more efficiently. When you start to get lots of fat in, like say in your cells and different things, and you get it around your gut, this can cause a lot of inflammation and can actually negatively impact things. So yeah, I was actually looking at something as well that too much body fat could also reduce muscle quality as well. So like, because of the inflammation, it could also like, while it might give you some leverages on certain exercises, that on a lot of exercises, having too much body fat could actually kind of make you relatively weaker and kind of make it harder to contract the muscles basically. And there's like a kind of inflammation going on in, say, like the mitochondria, and the muscles having basically like not really like very efficient contractions, what I'm saying. So yeah, so basically I think generally speaking, lean muscles are going to be more optimal. The only time where fat muscles are going to be better is when we're talking about like, powerlifting and stuff like that, where they would be chronically in a bulked state and just kind of constantly trying to overfeed themselves, because it can give them certain leverages. For example, on a bench press, the bar doesn't have to like travel as far down. So that means that they can use less range of motion. So does that mean they're actually stronger? Not really. If you're only able to lift more weight because you can drop the weight down less, you're just kind of changing leverages there, and just kind of doesn't necessarily make you, I would argue it doesn't necessarily make you stronger. You're just changing the leverages there. You're just changing the range of motion basically. Does that mean that having the extra body fat doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually able to produce more force? In fact, seems like some evidence shows the contrary actually. And on certain exercises, it can be a detriment. There can definitely be a detriment on body weight exercises. Like gymnasts are going to tend to be more lean because it comes down to like strength to body weight ratio rather than it being about absolute strength. What would be interesting, like to try as an experiment, right, is let's see who does better. If, say, like, for example, we have two people doing a bench press, but it'd be hard to really kind of quantify it though. But basically, they both have to have a similar amount of muscle mass, but one of them has significantly more body fat. But what we would do is we would both use the same range of motion. Like, so maybe we would use some kind of thing where we would stop the bar at a certain point before it hits the chest or something like that. Something like that could be, so the bar would only go down a certain way and then press back up. So my point is that, you know, who would be stronger in that kind of, would it still be the fat person? Would they still be able to lift more? I don't know if anything's ever been tried out about that, but they have talked about muscle quality and stuff being diminished at higher body fat. But it comes down to like your personal goals and stuff like that. And, you know, if you're trying to chase like a big bench, then being at a higher body fat can maybe help you with that. But in terms of your general fitness, I don't think it's a good idea to be getting to like 25, 30+% body fat. I mean, as a guy, it's just not good. It's you metabolically not going to be healthy at that point, I don't think. I'm trying not to drink this month. I just read that. So, but yeah, there's a lot of like different variables and stuff, and like, but I think most guys should probably not be, you know, going above 20% body fat. Full stop. Like, I think that going above 20 is even not ideal. I think they found that testosterone actually can start to decline around that point. Whereas for women, you know, being even up towards like 30% body fat can still be quite healthy, because men and women store body fat differently. Men and women have different levels of essential body fat. So being, you know, for a woman, they could be healthy probably anywhere between about, you know, just kind of like 20 to like almost like 30% body fat. And depending on how they store their fat, like there's women that are over 30% body fat, but they still look pretty healthy. They can in some cases still have quite a slim waist, but they just store it a lot in, you know, in their curves. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm doing fine, thank you. How are you doing? Whereas for some guys, they might say store a whole bunch of body fat in their, you know, like abdominals or whatever. So even at 20% body fat, might start to be already starting to get a bit of a gut just because of how they store their body fat. So a lot of it comes down to genetics. So you have to just kind of, if you care about your health, then you need to make sure to like kind of, you know, do you have a lot of visceral fat on you? Because if you have a lot of, because subcutaneous fat is not really that bad. It's the visceral fat. It's the fat that's around your organs, and if that's something, because that's something that's going to start accumulating beyond a certain point, depending on each individual. Some people can get away with having more body fat depending on how much visceral fat they have, which can really be like, yeah, detrimental. That can cause chronic low-grade inflammation. So that can really like mess up your mitochondria and all sorts of different things. Can mess up your immune system as well. Especially because like a lot of your immune system's in your gut, about 70 to 80% of your immune system's in your gut. So having lots of visceral fat on you is not good for that. I don't know. I don't think so. Don't think I remember you. I don't know who's this. Anyway. So yeah, so keeping your visceral fat down is probably going to be better than, say, having high levels of visceral fat just for the pursuit of trying to like get the biggest bench or whatever. Because unless you're specifically trying to just like become a world champion in that. But the thing is, there's oftentimes with these things, there's weight classes and stuff like that, and you can just maybe it might be better to just try and see if you can like do well in a certain weight class so that you can just kind of try to stay quite lean. Like you can still pursue strength goals, but then would it not be better to have a better strength to body weight ratio rather than just trying to chase absolute strength at the risk of your health? It's kind of like when people do, say, bodybuilding and then do kind of, steroids. Instead of, if you want to compete, maybe compete as a natural, you can still do well as a natural, and you can just put yourself out there and show that you're natural and that you're more relatable. Then you're kind of just, there's some people that get this huge rise to fame doing a bunch of steroids and stuff, but they have a very quick fall off as well, a lot of them, especially once they start getting older, and then that appeal fades, and then nobody likes them, because they're just not really, because a lot of it comes down to like your character and stuff like that, because a lot of people try and use steroids as a way to kind of compensate. But if say you're a natural athlete and you're but you have some character, you're fun and whatever, and like there's certain channels out there that have like a personality that they're more than just about being these gym bros. That's what's going to sell you if you have other things going for you other than just, than just like, than just being a gym bro. That's kind of boring. But anyway, let's just have a go on my mouth harp, actually. Well, you changed your username. All right, well, what was that then? So, yeah, the mouth harp. Let's have a go. Well, I'm not going to try and tell people not to like pursue what it is they want to do, but you just have to be careful, really, because it could take years off your life. If you're inflaming your body with like crappy food and just getting fat, just to try and increase your absolute strength, it's just not, I don't think it's really worth it. But everyone's going to have their own opinion on that. Like, if you've got, like, maybe if you're one of these guys that's got 0.0000001% genetics, then okay, I mean, there may be, like, some kind of, like, for example, if you've got someone like Hafthor Bjornsson, whatever it's called, 510 kg deadlift, because maybe like he might not have been able to do that if he hadn't have bulked up and what have you. So for him to become like a world record holder and whatever, and just that is something that he had to do as sacrifice. But there's a lot of people out there that are just chasing strength goals to just bulking up for that, but for what though exactly? So I remember there was this guy who I think they bulked up to like 30% body fat or whatever to then try and get a high bench press. But what's the point of that? I don't understand what the point of that is. You're not actually really stronger. You just have better leverages. That's what it is. It's like, but for example, when it comes to body weight, then body weight exercises, less body fat's going to give you better leverages for that. So depending on the exercise, having more or less body fat is going to be a better or worse leverage. But I think generally speaking, you probably want to be like in pretty good shape. Like if you want to be fit and functional and all that, have good strength, but also good conditioning. Then yeah, you wanna be well-rounded, and to be that, then you don't want to have too much bulk. And that goes for like roidheads as well, like roided bodybuilders. They just have all this bulk, and then they're just, they can't even barely ride a bike up a hill or something. Like, what good is having all this muscle if it's then going to restrict you? Like I was talking about earlier about fitness. Fitness is about being able to say yes to life, being able to perform at a high level, and being able to sustain it. So we have to concentrate on like becoming the best that we can be, so we can feel our best in our everyday life. So not restricted by our own physical and mental limitations. So a lot of it's mental as well, like your stress levels and things like that. Because you might feel mentally just not ready to do things. Anyway, so I'm gonna get going. So, okay, I'll see you all later.